Sorry. Good evening and welcome to the Goons from Block 5 with me, your host SJ. As always, if you watch this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. If you listen on Apple or Spotify, please leave a 5-star review or a 5-star rating. All the good things that help more people find the channel and allow them to come listen to sensational content. And there will be sensational content today because we have the returning Stelios. Stel, how are you, sir?
Good evening, man. Good, thanks. How you doing? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. It's been a while since you've been on. I've been doing a solo YOLO for like 4 weeks.
Uh, I missed pre-season. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, but I'm happy to have you back, man. I mean,
Good
today
to be back, man.
we're gonna do a 25-26 Arsenal season prediction in the Premier League. But before we get to that, like you said, you missed preseason. We haven't had you on all preseason, so I just want to get your thoughts on preseason for the team, how it's gone, uh, good points, low points, any tweaks and stuff like that. Go on, let me
Yeah, it's
know.
been yeah. I mean, it's been a bit up and down. I mean, generally, I don't have that much emotion invested in pre-season, and even if we were winning every game 3-4 nil, I wouldn't be jumping for joy saying we're going to win it all this year. And the flip side is also true. We had a few bad results coming up to that last game against Bilbao. I wasn't exactly all doom and gloom either. So I think we have been a bit rusty overall. Especially the Spurs game, we were very very like slow and predictable as well. And I think the Villarreal game, although we lost, I don't think the performance was as bad as I think some of the over the top reaction around the corners of the internet may have been. But that's just the nature of the game, I
Yeah,
suppose.
sorry. You said about Tottenham we look predictable, which seemed to be the online chatter from the first game, AC Milan, right through to Villarreal. Did you see, have you seen any tweaks possibly in our last game that you got
I
to
have,
note?
yeah, I have actually, and again, I'm not sure if this is, just a small sample size of a handful of games or
Mm.
something, deliberate that we're working towards the shape around, bringing the team up another level and adapting to the signings and stuff. But a couple of bits I've noticed are certainly in the midfield, with Zubimendi coming in, I think everyone had assumed he'd be a one-man anchor and do kind of what he normally does for Sociedad and for Spain. I think what I've seen so far, especially in the game against Bilbao, is I think him and Rice have been a bit more of a double pivot, as that traditional two-person midfield with one going forward if need be and one staying back and vice versa. And I think those two were near each other more often than I think we've seen Rice with in the past. So I'm not sure if that's something deliberate. And I think the flip side of that is that you get to see Odegaard further up as well as that more traditional number 10 role. So, um, hopefully we could see him pick up the ball in that final third more often rather than having to come deep a lot. And we've got that massive space in between him and the striker that's just very easy to defend against, which again slows us down and makes us, predictable and a bit slow that we've seen in especially the last season. And I think another kind of result of that kind of small tweak in midfield is less of a need for that inverting fullback
Yeah,
because you've got those two people in there already. So, and again, like we saw with Calafiori combining with Martinelli, I think we might see a bit more of that overlapping style fullback um, coming back a bit more. Not to say at all that that's the end of the inverted fullback. I think we'll still see a lot of that too, that style, especially with Miles Lewis Skelly being a senior player now. So I do think it just adds that extra tactical flexibility in our locker, and that use of fullback might also be dependent on which winger that we're using, especially on the left wing. I think the variety of winger style that we've got is very telling and owes itself to having a different type of fullback as well. Martinelli likes to come inside, on his right foot, and he's more dangerous there. We've seen him when he goes out wide, playing that traditional winger type that he gets found out very easily and he's been quite ineffective for us. So if we ask him to come inside, having an overlapping Calafiori, for example, might suit him because the space is there. And then vice versa, if we've got Madueke playing, he's a left footer. If we've got him playing left wing and he stays out wide a bit more, hugging the touchline, then you might see, Lewis Skelly come inside a bit more, allowing Rice to take up that further position a bit more. So again, I think we've got that extra little bit of flexibility. And I think we've seen hints of that in the last few games of preseason. But let's see how it pans out in the future and um, how that works for us in terms of our performances. I think Zubimendi is key to all of this. I think once the team, especially Odegaard, gets used to his direct, quicker forward passing style, I think we'll see the team flourish a bit more. So um, a bit of evolution rather than revolution, but it's good to see a few little new things
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean, I
team.
think I agree. I think Odegaard might benefit the most from this because he tends
Yeah,
to drop back and get the ball when he's not receiving it too much. But if he's able to hold his position between the lines, Zubimendi, look, he can pass a thread through a needle, you know.
yeah,
He's got that kind of ability. And like you said, we're keeping the defenders thinking they're midfielders where we rotating the double pivot, him and Rice. So yeah, I agree. I also, like I said before in the last pod, the frequency in that we made played direct balls. I think that's gonna be key going into this season. It seems like someone been working on in the build up of preseason to now. I mean, like I said, it was a gripe of the fans that we're playing our horseshoe style of play, but in this last game particularly, our direct balls out to Saka, our first time balls over the top, it looked like a new direction that we're trying to go into this season. And I mean, yeah, those tactics will work against the big six, who tend to have a higher line. May not so such against the lower teams in the league, who tend to drop back, but I mean, we need to be a Swiss Army knife. In this league, we can't be one dimensional. We need to have a plan A, a plan B, different approaches to the game. So yeah, I agree. Just small tweaks are needed, and yeah, hopefully do it and start the season. Um, so yeah, I want to go into our 25-26 predictions. Um, hold off from saying where you think we're going to finish this season. We're going to go at the end. So we're going to do a build up to that crescendo at the end of you telling us where we're going to win the Premier League. I'm joking. I'm not sure what you could be. That could be your opinion. I don't know. We haven't discussed this prior. We don't know what each other going to say. But first, we're going to start with a top goal scorer. So last season, Kai Havertz was our top goal scorer in the Premier League with 9 goals, even though he was out for around 4 months with a hamstring injury. So who do you think will be our top goal scorer this season?
yeah. I reckon this season I can't see past Big Vic, our new striker, being our top scorer. I reckon he'll hit 18 to 21, 22 goals maybe in the league. Maybe he'll have a slow start once he adapts a little bit. We've got some difficult fixtures. So I think maybe we won't see the best of him really until maybe like November, with maybe Havertz coming to the side a bit more. But I think once Gyökeres, I think there'll be that switch come on in terms of his playing style and once he's adapted to the league, that he just starts, banging them in and stuff. So I reckon, yeah, Gyökeres with Saka close second. I think the injury last year really robbed him of
Mm.
of, of that astronomical season. Like people forget the form he was in the few months leading up to his injury. He was like phenomenal, man. There was a reason he was having two, three players marking him, and I think having that extra danger man up front. I mean, you saw what having double marking on Gyökeres did against Bilbao. It just created so much more space for Saka, who tore him apart with cutting inside and all of that. And you know that bodes well for having that platform for Saka to shine. But I think he'll be just behind Gyökeres though in goals.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's my selection. I think Victor Gyökeres will be our top goal scorer this season, and I think he needs to be because I think that's what we bought him in for. We spent the big money this summer to address an issue up front, and I think he will suit our play. I mean, in that last game, look, we're playing to his strengths. So there's a willingness to get him on the ball by any means necessary. His goal in the Emirates Cup was that first time cross from Zubimendi. It wasn't exactly like it was planned. It was just great striker movement, which I think he has in his locker in abundance. He was unlucky in the Villarreal game not to get onto more crosses. He was making the right runs. He was going front post, and the ball was getting over here to the far post. When he went far post, it was just going to the front post. You need a bit of luck sometimes, but he's making those striker runs, which is
Yeah.
important. And I think he,
Ironically, his
yeah,
two best chances that game were headers as well. The one he
yeah,
scored from in that low diving header.
yeah.
So that's something which a lot of the chat was he doesn't score headers. So if he
Mm.
adds that to his game as well as his normal game, then can't see past him just taking off. Yeah,
No, I agree. I think he'll score quite a few headers because I think he's needed to be that fox in the box, that last touch before the ball goes in the back of the net will be him. So I think, yeah, I think his life's gonna be made a lot easier than it was in Sporting. Funny enough, um,
yeah,
I think there he had to be the number one, the Superman, making it happen. Whereas now he's not going to say he's not a small fish in a big pond, but he's got main characters around him, like Saka, Odegaard, Mendy. These are top players around him, which will make his life a lot easier. And all he has to do is focus on is his movement and putting the ball in the back of the net. It's very simple. So yeah, I agree. Gyökeres, um, 18 to 21. I'll be happy with 15. I think he will get more. I mean, do you think he'll take our penalties? Do you think, or do you think Saka?
I think Saka keeps it. Maybe if
Mm,
it's the second penalty of the game, he might give it to Gyökeres, or
mm,
let's say Gyökeres might be on a hat trick, he might give it to him. But I
yeah.
think Saka's still number one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Saka will keep him too. So yeah, Victor Gyökeres both our selection. Most assists. So last year, the player with the most assists was Bukayo Saka with 11 assists. Even though again he was out for around 4 months with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So who do you think will be the most assists this season?
Yeah, Saka again. I think him
Yeah,
being on set pieces still gives him a good chance, considering who he's swinging those balls into, but also open play as well. I think we saw how close to the 6 yard box he was getting against Bilbao. Now that he's not the only danger man for what defenders to worry about. I think we'll see plenty of cutbacks to Gyökeres and Odegaard coming inside. I think we'll see plenty of brilliant play from Saka. Again, I think he's going to go up a level this season. Um, so both, including set piece deliveries and open play, I can't see past Saka, but I do trust Odegaard to come a close second as well. I think, like you've said, I think the tweaks that we're going to have with the signings and the tactics are going to suit Odegaard as well. The closer that guy is to goal, the better the better chances he's got of making something happen. So Saka with close Odegaard in second.
okay, Saka. I mean, I went a bit different. I went Declan Rice. Um,
Hello.
yeah, I just think the second half of the season, he started feeling himself. I think he started realizing, took his game to another level, in my opinion. And you just realize what powers he has. Do you know what I mean? In terms of around the box. I mean, for me, he's got a trademark finish that whip into the far corner. He's done it numerous times. I know we're talking about assists at the moment, but I think with Zubimendi being behind him, um, he will get the ball higher up the pitch, and I think he will be a bit more instrumental around the edge of the boxes, sliding balls through for Gyökeres, similar to what Marino did in it, not in Emirates Cup against Villarreal. I think those balls may come from Rice. Um, and yeah, I just think that he will get cheap assists like Saka, but from the other side of the corner. Free kicks, he'll get assists that way. Yeah, I'm just that's just a left field selection on my part. I just think
Fair
Declan
enough. Yeah,
Rice. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people say Saka the way you have, and I mean that's probably the strongest argument, Saka, because he's that guy. Um, but I think Declan Rice, he could possibly surprise us and get them assists up, you know. But yeah, that's my selection, Declan Rice.
fair enough. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, next one, player of the season. I mean, the player of the season last year was Declan Rice. In my opinion, I think he got that award basically on the second half of the season. And those two free kicks against Real Madrid just were etched in everyone's mind. As soon as he scored those two free kicks, player of the season done. So yeah, I mean, who do you think will be the player of the season as voted by the
I'll go.
fans?
I'll go a bit left field as well. So let's take Saka out of the equation because he's probably the answer to most people's questions in any
Mm,
of the season kind of debate, right?
mm.
I think we could see Saliba pick it up. I
Okay.
could see Saliba just go up another level again. Another season of experience for him. He's brilliant already. Um, I think that he is just an absolutely unbelievable footballer. And if it wasn't for Gabriel stepping up last year and getting a lot of those goals that were getting the headlines, I think Saliba would have been in that shout. I know he wore off a bit with a bit of fatigue last year, but I think now with Mosquera back in the team and even White back to fitness, we might see Saliba rested a few more games and be able to go through that full 100% of the season at his level. So that's my left field choice, Saliba.
William Saliba, interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are built off slow defense. He's our leader. I mean, it was said that he struggled when Gabriel wasn't there. So touch wood, we don't have any injuries in the defense. But yeah, I think Saliba is a solid leader back there. He's getting better season by season. Um, we're going to get onto goals conceded later. But my choice of player of the season is Bukayo Saka. Like you said, it's going to be a lot of people's choices. But I haven't picked Saka for the top goal scorer or the most assists. But I think to win stuff, you need your best players to be the best. And if Bukayo Saka is his best, he will win our player of the season. Um, and that's the reason why I picked him. He may not score the goals, he may not even get the most assists, but he will be instrumental in games nonetheless. And I think we need that if we're going to challenge on all fronts and hopefully win something. So yeah, I mean, it's not a surprising selection, but that's my guy, Bukayo
And
Saka.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I just think, you look at it down the years. I mean, Man City, Haaland, he wins a player of the season, bangs in 50 goals. He won Mo Salah last
Yeah,
year.
Salah. Yeah,
Yeah, if Mo Salah doesn't play his best last year, Liverpool don't win what they win. So I think it's key that your best players are playing to their best because, they are the best players for a reason. They're the game changers. They're the ones that turn a 1-1 into a 2-1 or get that odd goal to win you the game, do something special out of nothing. And I think Bukayo Saka is our main player that can create something out of nothing, which is probably why the majority of our attack gone around side because the players trust him so much to make something happen. I mean, hopefully that changes this season and we vary our attack. But yeah, in recent seasons, it's been Bukayo Saka. And yeah, I just think hopefully Bukayo Saka this year. I mean, I think what you said about injuries and the assists, he was on course to break the assist record potentially held by Thierry Henry had he stayed fit. And had he done that, I think he would have won Player of the Season. Um, but it wasn't to be. So yeah. Um, Next one, final points tally. I mean, in 23-24, when we come second, we got 89 points, and we finished obviously behind City. In last year, we got 74 points, which was again good enough for second. So what do you reckon our points tally will be this year?
yeah. I mean, I think it all comes down to fitness.
Mm,
I think we have a good injury record, um, and we don't get decimated by surgeries and everything like last year. And I think a lot of what our transfer policy this summer was to basically avoid like overplaying some of those players. I think um, improving the backups was just as important as improving our starting 11 this summer. And I think we've gone a long way to do that. I still think the squad is maybe a little bit incomplete, but we can talk about that later if you want. But assuming we have a reasonable injury record, then we don't have our best players out for 2, 3, 4 months at a time. Like last year, I got back the team and say 90 points.
90 points.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got
okay,
8 to 9 with Havertz up front and Jorginho starting a load of those games in the run in.
good point.
Now we've got your now he's on the bench and Jorginho's been replaced by Zubimendi as the starter, but Norgard who's a good player on as backup as well. So I think we're able to go the season neck and neck with the big dogs and go
Mm,
to 90,
90
assuming
points.
that yeah, and then 10 points less if we get bad injuries. But
Oh,
I'll put my optimism hat on. I'll go for
the old
90.
caveats in there. The old
Yeah,
caveats.
yeah.
Okay, I mean 90 points. Okay, I mean that's a fair total.
I
I
think
think
that's
that'll
what you
be
need to win the league. I think that's
yeah,
what you need to win the league, and I think that's what we've got to be aiming for to win the league. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I mean I've gone a bit lower. I've gone 84 points, 10 more points than last season. And my reasoning for that because obviously we drew 14 league games last season. 10 more points is turning five of those 14 into wins, which I think we're pretty much capable of doing.
yeah,
Obviously, like, we had games where we um, went down to 10 men, rightfully or wrongfully. I mean, wrongfully is not rightfully about it. They were all just bogus red cards. Um, so I think we'll easily change. I mean, 84 is me being conservative, I think. Yeah, but I do think we'll be
yeah,
able to change five of those into wins.
yeah. Because I think compared to last year, like we went to Old Trafford with a front three of
Yeah,
Trossard, Waneri, and Marino, right? And we came across with a point, with a
that's
1-1
the
draw.
thing. That's the
And
thing.
I think a lot of those draws that you said were us going 1-0 up. And I think having that direct style of play, that new striker on the books, will turn those 1-0s into 2-0s and allow us to just wrap that game up at a bit more of a canter compared to holding on to results. If we're giving up 2 points so often last year. That was our problem results wise.
Mm.
And that's where I think the big change will happen this year. Once we go ahead, we stay ahead and we increase that lead. So that's what I'm looking for the boys this season the most. Once we go ahead to to keep going. So that's where I've got my 90 points from being a bit more
Yeah.
ruthless.
Yeah, might be thinking my 84 might be a bit low because we're turning five of those 14 draws into wins. And obviously, towards the end of the season, we weren't really, I won't say not trying, but we were heavily
Yeah, like
Champions
that
League
Bournemouth,
focused.
like
Yeah,
that Bournemouth at
yeah.
home loss doesn't happen
You've got the Bournemouth, the Everton
if
away
we had league
1-1.
tickets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bournemouth, Everton
Brentford
away,
at home,
Crystal
Brentford
Palace
at
at
home,
home.
1-1.
Yeah,
Both Brighton games went ahead 1-1.
yeah. Oh,
Fulham
yeah.
was no, not Fulham, but
Yeah,
plenty of other
maybe
games
my,
too.
my 84 might be a
Chelsea.
bit low. Yeah, I think you might be close with your 90, but I'm going to stick with 84. Um, I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. We go to the 90. Next, goals scored. So in our season 23-24, where we finished second to City, we scored 91 goals. Wasn't good enough. Last season, bit of a dip, down to 69 goals. So what do you reckon? How many goals do you think we'll score this season? Obviously, we've got a new striker up
I'll,
front.
I'll go for 86.
86.
Yeah, I think remember if you remember that run in when we scored all those goals, a lot of those were like 5-6 nils away, where we were like 2-3 nil up after half an hour. And
Mm,
as much as I love that to happen this year, I think a lot of that was a symptom of going ahead that quickly. So I wouldn't bank on it happening that often, but I think above 80 is very doable. So I'll go for was it 86? I said, yeah.
86, yeah. Yeah, 86. I've gone a bit low. I've gone 82, but I mean, you're saying 86. Who scores them goals? If you got Jokeris scoring, say, 20, I mean, that season we scored 91. We had the likes of Odegaard, Martinelli.
Yeah, I
Everyone was
think
chipping in, you know?
I think we'll see generally like a fair enough like a fair spread of goals like in that season. You're forgetting, because you Havertz. I think will get plenty of stats. If Odegaard, like I said, if he steps up this year and he's
Mm,
playing close to goal, there's no reason he shouldn't get
mm.
nine to 12 league goals. Rice scored more than we were expecting last year, and he should do again. We're a danger from set pieces still. Gabriel scored plenty of goals as well. So I think there will be a fair amount of goals shared across, but um, so we're not going to have a City-esque where Haaland scores 45 goals and no one else comes close to 10. I think we'll see, if we, I wouldn't be surprised if we get three players on double digits, or above 12 league goals. If we get Gyökeres 20 goals, Saka 18, and Odegaard 12, that's already a great start. And that doesn't even include, Madueke playing a few games, Martinelli, Havertz, even Jesus. You never know. Rice coming in, and the set pieces. So I don't think 86 is unrealistic.
I mean, you got me sold. You should run for freaking prime minister, mate. I'm sticking with 82, but I think, yeah, I think 86, like you said, the points you made there are pretty valid. I mean, yeah, Odegaard hopefully chipping in, rediscovering his form. I mean, towards the end of last season, he
And
looked to take.
Waneri, of course, mention Waneri. The
Yeah,
guys. A lot of people are banking on him breaking out.
mm,
He's not going to do that without scoring
yeah,
10 goals,
yeah,
maybe even eight. Depending on how many chances he gets. But
yeah,
there's
yeah,
goals. There's goals in that team. It's just
yeah,
the spread of them. That's the question.
yeah. I mean, I'll stick with my 82, but yeah, your points there are valid. I'm pretty sold that we'd get higher than that to your 86, maybe higher. Goals conceded, the other end of the pitch. In the season 23-24, when we come second, we scored 91 and we conceded 29. I mean, in most seasons, those two stats, if you just heard those, you think you won the league, but we didn't. Last season, we scored 69, as mentioned, and we conceded 34, five higher than the season before, but not too bad. We're still conceding less than a goal a game. So how many goals do you think we concede this season?
Yeah, I think we've got. I think the eight defenders that we've got probably the best unit of defenders in the league.
Mm,
Um, so I think whatever the goals conceded is going to be, I think we'll have the fewest in the league, like we did last year. Um, so I'll go for 30.
30. Oof.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
exactly Mourinho-esque shutout because I think
yeah,
there
yeah,
will be
yeah.
there will be some maybe some dodgy penalties. There might be a few kind of scuffs, deflections and all that stuff which you
Mhm.
can't really counter for. So I'm gonna stick with 30, but I will say I think it will be the lowest in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I've said 35, just basically purely from what we've seen in the past. I think we're very solid defensively, and we will dominate the majority of teams in the league. And we don't seem to tend to concede that many goals against the top six teams. Um, But with 30, do you think to get that target, we will have to compromise our attacking play? Because to be concede 30, you have to be very defensively solidly, which what we've been in the past, and which people have said we've been a bit too defensive orientated, as in getting everyone back, and it's hindered us in the transition, etc. Do you think we're able to get 30 and still play that way, attack more attacking?
Well, that is the £1 million question, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's
true,
you
true.
know we've seen this team do it before, go through streaks of 3-4-5-6-0 like we saw 18 months ago. I think it goes back to my earlier point of if we go 1-0 in in a game, which will happen more often than not, how quickly can we turn that 1-0 into a 2-0, into a three or into a 3-0 and really put that game off to bed? Because it sounds a bit stupid, but you're less likely to concede a goal if you're comfortably ahead already, just
Mm,
because of the mental state of the game. If you're 1-0 in a game against any team, whether it's Sunderland, Leeds, or Chelsea, City, there's always that chance they come at you. If you're maybe 3-0 up, everyone kind of knows in the back of the head the game is close to over, especially when it's Arsenal and you've got that reputation of being solid defensively. So I think for me, it depends on how quickly we can double that goal difference in a game and put that game to bed. Um, and in that case, those goals conceded might become the old consolation goal. But yeah, like for me, it's about how ruthless we become in front of goal will actually
mm,
help how we are at conceding as well. So it's that old phrase, attack being the best form of defense, which
mm.
certainly works in our favor.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, fair enough. Apologies, I actually missed a question that I wanted to throw to you. I didn't even say it before, just one that came to my head just as we're starting the pod.
Yeah,
Who do you think will be our breakout player of the season?
breakout. Uh, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Waneri is wrestling the shirt off Odegaard's back.
Okay.
Um, if not, I might go for Mosquera.
Okay.
I think Mosquera might have the kind of seat like he looks like a unit. He's tall, he's strong, but he's not massively built. He's got that strength, but he's a bit more on the lanky side, like you see with someone like Rudiger or even like Vieira back in the day, right? So I think we might see him, play those cup games and come in for a bit of rotation minutes, and then I think you might see some fans wanting to see more of him
Okay.
in the team. So those are my two bits. I do think Dalman is a bit short for him still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do think he'll still get some minutes, but I can't see him getting any league minutes,
No.
really, unless it's a bit of a token,
Mm,
Brentford for one area kind of situation, a couple of minutes. But
yeah.
if we get a favourable draw in the
The League
Carabao
Cup.
Cup, I don't
Oh,
even know
yeah.
if he's eligible for them. I don't
I
know if
think
there's
he's
different
eligible. I
rules
think
and
he's eligible
stuff.
for those. I think he's
He's
eligible.
not allowed in the Champions League, is he?
No, he's not. No, no.
Yeah. So if
Yeah,
we get a favourable home draw in the early rounds of the Carabao, we might see him start for us.
yeah,
But I do think it'll be a couple of years before we start seeing him play semi regularly, which is totally fine.
yeah. I mean, I expect Diamond to play with the under 21s because they're playing that Johnson's Paint Trophy against lower league
Yeah, yeah.
teams. So yeah, I expect to play those minutes. Um,
Who's your breakout?
yeah. My breakout is Calafiori. I think
Oh yeah,
yeah, I just think he's last season he had loads of injuries, wasn't fit. I think he missed over 20 games for the club. But if he's able to stay fit, I think he just brings a different dynamism
yeah,
to the defense. The way he plays, the way he just
yeah. It's
bombs
a fair
up.
shout. And I
Like
think
Lewis
his
Skelly,
style of play, yeah, his
yeah,
style of play, he needs fitness and a run of games.
yeah,
He can't come in and out of a team without suffering from performance-wise.
yeah,
Um, and again, goes back to our problem with fitness, man. If he stays fit, he'll be such an asset for us. He plays across two positions at the back.
mm,
His style is very unpredictable, very Maverick-esque, and it could help us, unlock those deep defenses
mm,
by driving forward. He's got that good pass about him as well. He's not afraid of having the odd shot. The goals against Wolves and City last year, when that shows how he likes to get forward. Yeah, fair enough to go for him. Let's
Yeah,
fingers crossed he stays fit. Yeah,
because obviously, like Lewis Skelly, he'll invert and join alongside Martin Zubimendi, whereas Calafiori, he will invert or he will join the attack. So he
yeah,
won't be
he'll invert
alongside. Yeah,
alongside
yeah,
Gyökeres. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. No, essentially, it does. He just pops up, and how do you prepare for that? You just see an extra body there next to you. It creates
yeah,
chaos in the final third, which is what we need. It's a bit different. So yeah, if he can stay fit, he's a different option. I mean, we're building options. We're building different ways to attack teams, which is good. Which is what we need.
yeah.
Um,
It takes away that predictability,
that's it. That's it.
which is half the problem for us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I did say to hold where you think we're going to finish towards the end. We're going to build a crescendo. So, Stelios, without any further ado, where do you think Arsenal will finish in the 25-26 Premier League season?
Assuming again injuries are nothing major and all that,
I don't want the
and
caveats. Where
and
are
the summer
Arsenal?
I'll go for second. I'll go for a close
Second.
second. I
Okay.
think I've got confidence that the boys will turn up this season. I just don't know if we've got like, and I think City will win it. By the way, I think City will win it. I don't know if Liverpool have got the same season in them as they did last year. I'm very open to being wrong. I think it'll be a three-way race. I think we'll come second. It could be because the third team starts to prioritize the Champions League more, for example. But I think it'll be quite neck and neck. Um, I think second maybe by 4 points,
Okay.
which
Second.
means if I'm predicting 90 points, I'm expecting someone to get 93, 94 points to win the
Mm-mm.
league. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if City do that this year.
Yeah.
Um, with their signings and just the general quality they've got anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you. I think we're coming second. I mean, it's going to be 4 times in a row. Arsenal have been four. We're definitely coming. I think we're coming second. We'll improve on goals, in my opinion. We'll just concede just about the same amount, but I just think there's going to be games we're going to get caught out. What I actually think might happen this season is where we've been so strong against the other traditional top six in pre-seasons, I think we might lose a couple of those games. And then we're
Yeah,
going to be stronger against the weaker teams. So it's going to be like a small role reversal. And I think those games where we lose the game, like maybe a game to City or Liverpool, that's where it's going to be a bit. That's where it's a create a gap during the season. And I have Liverpool retain the league title, um, and
fair
City
enough.
coming
Yeah,
third. So who's your just briefly? Who's your top five? Maybe forget Champions League again. Top five. Who's your top five?
won the league.
Yeah, in the league. Yeah.
So City, Arsenal, Liverpool, but that could change easily. I'm not going to stick to that. And then I can't see past Chelsea getting fourth. They might be a
Mm.
bit of a dark horse. They might not be far off the top three that people think. And then I think fifth's going to be wide open.
It is, isn't it? It is. I think it is as
I
well.
might go for United just because
Ooh.
I think one game is one game a week.
Yeah.
They've got a whole new front three. It lets them develop Sesko a little bit because they're not like throwing him into the pressure cooker of going for the league and Champions League. Um, Not I think they'll be any good. I think they might get fourth on 64 points, for example, something like that, 65, 70, maybe even 70 points max.
Yeah.
Spurs might be up there as well.
Mm.
Frank is a good coach. As of today, I think they were apparently close to getting Savinho from
Slovenia,
City
yeah.
today. But
Not
we'll
a bad
see.
vote.
But again, I think from my friends and namesake cousins' reactions, I think their transfer window has been going a bit
Yeah.
slow for them. I think they've only got a couple of players so far, and I think they're missing a couple of midfielders that they need too. It'd be wide open because I think Newcastle have had a shocking window so far. Um, I reckon they might keep Isaac. To be honest, I reckon they'll keep him for one more year, maybe
Okay.
a new contract with release clause, and say right, you can go next year, or they'll just force him something like that. I don't see them caving in, but you never know how things change, especially the last week of August in the window. Villa, again, I don't think they've had a particularly inspiring window from what I gather. So yeah, if I had to choose, I'd say United. But I
Mm.
think it'll be more of a best of bad bunch scenario compared to Spurs and Villa and Newcastle. But um, yeah, maybe yeah, United or Spurs getting fifth.
Yeah, I think Liverpool, us, City, Chelsea, and then again it could be United, Villa. I don't think Newcastle will be in the mix because I do think Isak will go Liverpool at some point in transfer window. If they keep him, they could get fifth. I think Brighton could be a surprise package. Um, yeah, those four teams. It could go to any of them. I mean, I'm not sure if we're getting fifth place Champions League again this season, but if it's just top four, I think it would just be Liverpool, us, City, and Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, Stel, it's been great having you today, man. I mean, it's always great
You
to
too,
have
man.
you.
Pleasure as always. I love coming on
Always,
here.
always great to have you.
Hopefully, once the football gets rolling, we'll do it more often
Yeah,
as
100%.
well. It's always
100%.
fun, man. Always good to catch up and talk
Whenever
all
you're
things
free, the
Arsenal.
seat's here ready for you. The seat's here always waiting for you. Keep it warm for you, my friend.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, good to have you. And if you're
Cheers,
watching on
SJ.
YouTube, cheers, man. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Again, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating, and also follow on those platforms. And until next time, everyone, all the best.